Just another brother with another humble question. Just another brother with another humble question.
Welcome to A Brother with Questions. I am your host, B. Period. Man, I appreciate you for joining me on today. We're going to be reacting to this video from Roland Martin, man. Roland Martin, he's a good dude, but ideologically, we don't always see eye to eye. But before I get started, please like and subscribe to the channel. Click that little like button, click the share button, and then make sure you leave a comment. Tell your friends, man. But today we are going to dive in on this Roland Martin video. Now, in the video, I'm going to just do a small segment. This total video is like 40 minutes long. And what he was doing is Charlemagne, apparently was a host on The Daily Show. And so he's reacting to Charlemagne's video that he did on, or his monologue that he did on The Daily Show talking about DEI. Now, like I said, this video is like 48 minutes long, I think. And so what Roland did in reacting to Charlemagne's video, he basically broke down the history of the history of DEI. He went all the way back to affirmative action, and then he talked about when it sort of transitioned to where we are currently today with DEI. And so I'm not going through that whole video. If you're interested, go click on the video and you can take a listen. But what we're going to pick up is he also reached out to Mark Cuban. Mark Cuban, of course, is the former owner. I think he sold it. I'm pretty sure. I thought I saw it read he sold the Dallas Mavericks, but I believe he's still running the day-to-day operations or something to that nature. And so I'm picking up on an email where he was asking Mark Cuban's thoughts on DEI. So that's what we're going to pick up.
And I said, hey, we'd love to have you on the show, but if you can't come on the show, share me some thoughts. And so this is the email that Mark Cuban, of course, owner of the Mavericks, well, he sold the team, but this is what he sent me back. He said, Roland, look at the top 10 market cap companies. All have DEI programs, even Tesla. 3 of the top 4 are run by people of color. The other, Apple, by a gay man. All make DEI a priority. My general position is that I believe DEI is really good for business. People trust people who look like them. They want to do business with them. But to me, it's not about hiring heads of DEI and creating a bureaucracy or doing commercials like.
So let's take a pause right here. So he said 4 of the top companies have 3 minorities, and then, to use his words, and a gay man, and they all put DEI as a priority. And so to me, DEI, for those that don't know, diversity, equity, and inclusion, right? So as they explain it, they say the whole concept is about bringing in more of a diverse workforce to any particular company. And so, of course, the trend has been that people have been starting up whole departments dedicated supposedly to DEI. And the critics say there's been a lot of lip service on behalf of most companies. It's the critics. And then the proponents say that they're basically handicapping these departments and not getting them the proper backing that they need from the top. And so Mark Cuban has been a proponent of this, and he's criticized people like Elon Musk and other CEOs for not doing enough.
Charlemagne, CTG, criticized. It's about following good DEI business principles. Diversity is looking for great people where others don't. There are a lot of smart people that are ignored for jobs. Find them where others aren't looking. Equity is where the right goes nuts. They think it's about quotas and making sure no one has an advantage or can succeed beyond anyone else. Equity is putting your employees in a position to succeed. That's it. Training, support, etc. If you hire someone smart, no matter what they look like, give them the tools to make you more successful. Inclusion, make people feel good about themselves at work. That's just smart business. He is right. We need more black leaders. But when you are only 8% of the white collar workforce, it takes time. And he contradicted himself. Can racists freak out any more than they are now? Everything is about DEI, which is another way of saying people of color aren't qualified. They can't do the job. They only get it because of DEI.
So, and this is another criticism that you've seen out there. So, there was a big couple of months ago. Charlie Kirk got himself in what some people describe hot water, and even Candace Owens made a comment about how one of the airlines basically said they were purposely looking for minority and women pilots to basically fill out their workforce, and so I believe it was United. But and so they caught a lot of flack because the critics said, here's another one of these DEI programs where they're trying to fulfill a quota and they're no longer looking for the best candidate. And so Charlie Kirk and even Candace Owens to some extent expressed that now when they see a black pilot, or really they didn't say women pilot, they really both of them said black pilot. When they see a black pilot, that they were going to assume that they got the job because who they are, not necessarily because of their qualifications. You know, one of the things that I didn't like either one of those statements, because one, it assumes that there's not a pre-qualification to get the job. And so, yes, you might be a black pilot, but if you've only been flying for 2 years, then you haven't met the minimum requirement, I'm sure. And so as a result, you wouldn't qualify. While you might get the interview, you don't qualify for the job. And so I would hope that you wouldn't get the job. Right. So now if you have all of the necessary requirements, the minimum, you know, those quote unquote minimum requirements that are needed to become a pilot for a major airline, then now, right now, you get the opportunity, and if you're the most qualified person at that time, then hopefully, you know, then you get the job. But I would assume that they're not taking people who don't, at a minimum, meet whatever their minimum requirements are. Now, if they're doing that, then I agree. I don't think I would call that bad practice, and certainly bad faith, because to me, if you don't meet the minimum requirements for whatever that job requires, then you shouldn't be in the building. Period. Black, white, woman, whatever, it doesn't matter. But if you at least meet the minimum, then, you know, hey, have at it. Do what you do. And just like anything, I'm sure there's going to be some white men you hire that aren't going to be quite up to the snuff. There might be some black men you hire that aren't quite up to the snuff. But that's a part of hiring. It happens no matter when you're talking about a teacher, whether you're talking about a McDonald's worker, or whether you're talking about a pilot. Clearly, the pilot, in my opinion, has a lot more responsibility. But the truth is, not every pilot who meets the qualifications was still the best man for the job. And that's just true.
Look at the people that work for you. Where do you recruit? How do you put your employees in a position to succeed? How do you make people who are different feel included? You have been an entrepreneur for a long time. Talk about your business and your experience. You don't have to have a DEI program to practice DEI. You just have to run your business the right way and set standards for how people are treated. And folks, right there, the fundamental issue with DEI programs as to how they are set up right now is that they are performative because the leaders are not serious.
And there's the other problem I see with this. So with DEI, and of course, diversity in any job is always going to be good, right? Because when you put diverse voices in a room, then you hear and you hear arguments that you wouldn't have heard otherwise because you didn't have said voice. And again, for me, when I say diversity, I'm still looking at the qualifications, right? I'm still not letting you in the room just because you're black or you're you're Hispanic or you're Indian, whatever, right? I'm still looking for you to meet said qualifications for the job. But once you put that diversity in the room, it does bring up conversations that you wouldn't have had without those people. And so that is always a good thing. What Roland is criticizing is the performative aspect of we've created a department, but really not that serious. Which I agree with him. If we're gonna create a department, then let's take it serious. But at the same time, that's part of the problem is that we're demanding for these things, but we're not really holding people accountable for what we're asking for. So in essence, it is performative because we're giving them their props for creating the position, but we're really not asking them to do anything other than have the position.
Leaders are not taking proactive decisions. The leaders are not sitting here going, wait a minute, who has all of our outside legal work and our accounting work? We're spending money on catering. Do we have any black caterers? We spend how much money on flowers for the office? Are we using any black florists? We spend money on audiovisual. Are we using any black audiovisual companies? How much of our money is going to spend on advertising? Oh, the ad agency we're using, are they diverse? Oh, we're not going to spend our money with lily white ad agencies.
And this is another fundamental problem I have. If black people's come up is dependent upon a DEI program, then ultimately you're not going to come up, because now you're asking people to go outside their circle, and whether you're black, whether you're white, whether you're Hispanic, it doesn't matter. Most people aren't going outside of their circle. So if my come up depends on some manager at a company who I don't know and I've never built a relationship with, I'm going to be stuck, because I'll be waiting forever for the random call from the random person who barely knows I exist. And so that whole vision of they have to now go out, it's just not realistic. And so I'm not going to spend the rest of my life waiting on some random phone call from a random individual so that I can get my come up. If you want to get your come up, you have to go out and put in the work as the business looking for business. You have to go out and do the networking necessary in order to expand the scope of who knows what you do, how well you do it, and that you're available. If you're not putting in that work, there's no program that's going to help you, which is the flaw of most the critics, because they're demanding these people to do something that even they themselves don't do. Because most people talk to the people who they know, and that's just people. It's not racism. It's not white supremacy. It's people. Black people included. That's why when you look at most black people's circles, who's in it? You might find a random one or two white people depending on the industry you're in. But let's be honest. You know what it is. Your circle ain't that diverse either.
Oh, y'all see how that works? That's what a leader does. So you can't have white folks over here talking about pull yourself up by your bootstrap, why y'all can't get ahead, why you're always begging the government for money. But then over here, we're frozen out of jobs, we're frozen out of contracts, and frozen out of opportunities. And then you complain about DEI. So what I need folks
frozen. I hate the insinuation. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't feel like I'm frozen out of anything. Now, I do feel like maybe I don't network enough, but I don't feel like I'm frozen. Sometimes maybe I might not have as much education as I thought I needed, but I don't feel frozen. And so, again, for those that want more, you do more to get more. You can't build $100 million business when all your friends make $50,000. It's possible, sure, but you're the enigma, and it's going to even be even more challenging. So if you want to build $100 million business, at the very least, you got to go find you some friends that make $1 million, right? So you can have the connections to be able to take your $1 million to 10 million to 20 million to 30 million, right? But if you're not making those connections, again, a DEI program ain't gonna matter. Frozen. Come on, man. Hate these.
To understand, and again, it was a comedy segment, and it was 5.5 minutes. I've already gone 38 minutes. But the reality, when we talk about what's happening with DEI, these white racists and these haters, they are trying to attack everything that is positioning black people where we are today. They're suing the Fearless Fund. They're targeting every program in corporate America. They're targeting law firms. You name it, that's what they're doing. Because of this, and I wrote about it, and y'all, everything you're seeing I called, it's white fear. They now have to compete. And so what they don't like is, wait a
This is where I'm going to end this video. But and again, I'll drop the link to the whole video if you want to go watch the whole video. But and that's the paranoia. This concept that white people are afraid of black people coming up. Or no. Well, he would probably say black people. But I think he has a bigger scope in the sense that he believes white people are afraid minorities are going to take over. With the Hispanic population growing at the way that it is, coupled with black people. But I just don't see it. I don't think the majority of white people sit around and talk about black people the way black people talk about white people. And I'm not white, so maybe I'm wrong. But I don't think they're doing that. To me, we have bigger problems that we aren't addressing. The fact that our kids are failing at reading, failing at math, overall, and certainly in certain pockets of the country, certainly some of the major cities. To me, that's the bigger problem. The fact that we don't value education to the level that we need to me, that's a bigger problem. The fact that when we do go to college, we tend to avoid STEM. To me, that's the bigger problem. Because when you look at the way the world is going, the people who are most successful are in STEM. They are in technology. How many of us are actually going for the technology-related jobs? To be able to not wait on a DEI program for our come-up, but to be able to create our own come-ups, to be able to create our own opportunities. I'm sorry. I refuse to believe in 2024 my success is based on a diversity program. When even by the greatest proponents, like a Roland Martin, even by his own assessment, the DEI program is ran by white people who aren't interested in expanding anything. They're only interested in having the program so that they can claim it, but they're not really interested in doing the work. But yet, I'm waiting on this program for my come up. Just the concept don't even make sense. Because you can't even believe what you're saying if you don't believe they're effectively doing. And fear? To me, the only people scared are black people. Because I'm not sure we believe that our come up is around the corner. I don't think we believe that we can do this ourselves, which is why we're waiting on the government and programs to allow us to get our opportunities. And if that's our plan, we're always going to be behind. And on that note, I'm B. Period, and I'm out.